Greetings, New Zealand naturopath Eric Bakker, author of Candida Crusher. I'm going to talk about probiotics again today. What constitutes a good probiotic? How do you know you're buying a good quality product? Well, the thing is, you have to place a lot of trust and integrity in your supplier. So what I would like to tell you in particular, what's important, if you take any kind of dietary supplement on a long-term basis, is you've got to know what kind of people made this product. Where did it come from? Where did they get the raw materials from? All right. What kind of research has gone into this product? Is it just a sales product? It's full of hype. You can get a good feel from the product really by trying to look particularly at the person behind the product. And this is why I chose Nebraska biocultures for my probiotics. So I've had a very special probiotic made specifically for Candida patients in conjunction with very nice people at Nebraska biocultures. So the legacy of the probiotic that I particularly like to recommend is an amazing legacy. Dr. Kem Shahani was a microbiologist whose son Michael has now taken over. Kem worked with lactobacillus for a long time and developed the lactobacillus DDS1, the Department of Dairy Science one. So it's probably the most researched of any lactobacillus ever. Kem has published over 200 articles, scientific articles, on various kinds of probiotics, in particularly his beloved Acidophilus DDS1, which many now in the world regard as the Cadillac or the Rolls-Royce of lactobacillus. There are hundreds of different strains of lactobacillus acidophilus you can use, but the DDS1 is the only human strain that's ever been used. So Kem worked on this for a long time. There are many patents on this particular product. There's even a patent on it which shows it that it's actually antibiotic or penicillin resistant as well. It's a remarkable product. So in my opinion, any kind of dietary supplement you take with probiotics should contain the lactobacillus DDS1. It's exactly why I've put it in the CanXida Restore. I put other probiotics from Dr. Shahani in there as well, also made with the same extremely high stringent quality. Several years ago, before GMP was enforced, good manufacturing procedures were enforced in the dietary supplement industry in the US. I've spoken with many experts in America and in Europe regarding probiotic cultivation and manufacturing, formulations and marketing, of course, because this is my industry. And I was quite amazed to discover that when a survey was done on US probiotics just before GMP was enforced, that over half the probiotics surveyed were in fact useless and were dead. There was no viable bacteria in them at all, so people were getting ripped off. They had no idea. Now I can tell you now, if you're watching this video, there's a chances are if you're buying some kind of El Cheapo product, you could still be getting ripped off or scammed. Excuse me. Check out and make sure that the factory or the supply is certainly GMP, has a GMP certification. I think just about all manufacturers are GMP today. The companies I deal with have been GMP years ago, even before GMP was enforced. So Dr. Shahani's probiotics are packed usually 10 to 15% over what the quantity of the bacteria over than it states on the label, just to ensure that you're getting plenty in there. So a good daily dose is between 1 to 15 billion per day is usually all you need. And if the product's manufactured properly, a reputable supply, it's going to last quite a long time too. So the product you're looking for should have been very carefully formulated and cultivated and manufactured by a top quality supplier, a person who has spent a long time working with probiotics. You really have to understand probiotics. They can't just be another product that a company's making. So that's why I like to work with highly specialist people like Dr. Shahani's company, who've worked at probiotics now for many decades. So you're getting a big pedigree there. So these products are made, the bacteria are grown in very special media cultures, which often don't even involve dairy. Like for garbanzo beans or chickpeas form a medium for some of the most potent growing probiotics on the planet currently come from a chickpea or a garbanzo bean medium, would you believe it? So these products are grown and then they're harvested, they're concentrated, and then a cryoprotective agent's been added. So this is a proprietary process where an agent's been added to the bacteria to stop it deteriorating, to allow it to have all kinds of swings of temperature. It's going to be remarkably stable. Then it's freeze-dried. And then certain other kinds of stabilizers, natural stabilizers, are added in with the packaging to give this a very long shelf life. So the product you take ideally should be kept cool. It doesn't have to be kept in the refrigerator, but it will do better long term in the refrigerator. But probiotics like a stability of temperature. They don't like humidity, and they don't like wide fluctuations of temperature. So if you keep it quite cool, as you would in your pantry or in your cupboard, it's going to perform a lot better. If you keep it in your fridge, it'll perform even better. If you're only going to take, one here or there long term, probably keep it in the refrigerator. You can even freeze probiotics, this particular quality I've got, with no problem at all, with no loss of viability. And you can even take the frozen probiotic capsule and swallow it. It can go from, a 40, 50 degree temperature fluctuation. Remember, these products are freeze dried. They're very, very high quality. And they only get activated in the environment where it's dark, it's moist, and it's warm. As soon as those three factors come into play, it will thrive. The DDS1 also, and a good quality product, will survive the stomach acid. It really will. This is why, again, I chose Lactobacillus rhamnosus in this formula, because it thrives in a very high acid environment. So even if only a small amount of the DDS1 gets through, which it won't, but if even, let's just say hypothetically, a tiny amount went through, the rhamnosus will almost certainly get through because it loves high acid, and those two will thrive together. So there are a lot of factors for you to consider when you buy a probiotic. But as I say, you need to look at the company, the raw material supplier. They've got to have a lot of research backing them. There's got to be a lot of trust and integrity. And don't get scammed by probiotics, because there's a lot of rubbish out there on the market. That's why I designed my own product, and I always have for many years now, because I know the people who make it, and I know the suppliers where the raw materials come from. Therefore, I can guarantee to my patients it's going to be a top-notch product. Thanks for tuning into my video today.